Hi everyone, I'm Bianca and
And I'm Byron Cole.
welcome to the Self-Made Book channel. Today we are interviewing the amazing Amani Simpson, CEO of Aviard Inspires, and also a producer. So that's who we're speaking to today. So Amani, thank you very much. How are you
Yes,
doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.
We've got a superstar here, you
I
know.
know.
This guy's on TV. He's like, he's everywhere.
I know. I've
We're
noticed.
honored. We're honored to be in his presence
In fact,
right
we
now.
had to wait some weeks to get this
Weeks,
interview.
we have to wait a good 6 weeks, people. So you have to enjoy this interview. So
That's
thank you
only
for joining us.
that's only one side of the story, guys. But
Ah. So tell
but
us what you've been up to. First of all, tell us about you. Find out a bit more about you.
as I was introduced, name's Omani. I am 29. I would like to call myself a social entrepreneur. I really kind of focus on youth empowerment. My story has been one of turbulence, but I've turned it around, and now I live to empower young people and help them elevate their minds. So, yeah.
Awesome, I love that. And how do you elevate their minds? How do you achieve that?
One of the things that I do on a daily basis is I go into schools, primary, secondary schools, pupil referral units, and I show my film, Amani, my short film, and then we do a 6-week empowerment program with a handful of those that are, maybe struggling a little bit more in school. So I just really speak to the students that were maybe very much like me when I was growing up. So a little bit lost, kind of maybe wearing a mask, bringing a different character into school and trying to fit in with certain types of boys, and just reminding them that they are brilliant individuals and that they've all got purpose. So that's what I do. I just go and spread a bit of light in there.
Love that. Love that. So during the 6-week course, what kind of, or how has the uptake been so far, really, from the schools and colleges that perhaps you're speaking to? Are they embracing it, or are they a bit resistant?
No, very much so. I mean, one of the things that the film did for us, we're nearly on 2 million views right now. So one of the things that it did is it opened a lot of thank you. It opened a lot of doors, and a lot of people started to contact us. And so one of the first things that we did is we did assemblies. And if obviously you guys are featured in the film, or your book is, so we just really like to make sure that when they watch it, they're impacted. That they get to ask questions, and they get to see the rise and the kind of fall of someone, and then the rebirth, and so it's been really, really good. I find that a lot of the young people in the classes as well, it's the first time they've had like a big brother figure that they can ask some of these questions to. Because
Sure.
a lot of the time they have those kind of maybe more negative influences. Maybe parents aren't in the best space. They've got older brothers and sisters involved in things. And I come in and just say, well, here's another alternative. It can be something else for you. So yeah, it's been really good. Really, really good.
So I want to talk about the film, but before I talk about the film, I want to ask you, how did you end up getting into producing a film? Because that's something that's quite unique. You don't grow up thinking, did you grow up thinking I want to be a film producer? Or was this just, no? Okay. So how did it happen?
I would say definitely by the grace of God. Like it was yeah. I met Javan at a time where I wasn't looking for him, but we met each other very early.
Just explain who Javan is for
Sorry,
us.
Javan Wade. He's a Hollywood actor. He was in the first Purge. He's in Shiro's Story. He also plays me in my short film. He's currently playing Cyborg in Doom Patrol, a DC Universe project. And so yeah, I met him just before he did the first Purge, which is his first Hollywood project, and just met him organically. Became brothers. Went to church with him. Met his parents, or his mum, and his brothers and stuff, and really got in with the family really quickly. Then he went and did the Purge, and in my head I was thinking, I don't really know him that well. He's gonna go, and it was nice to know you guys.
Yeah.
But, we connected out there. Kind of walked on the journey with him while he was over there, and then he came back and we sat down for breakfast, and he was just saying, I want to do a film about faith. I want to do something about someone really struggling with their faith. Do you know anyone that's got a story like that? And I was just like, yeah, me. But it's like all the lights kind of shone on me in that moment, really just to make sure that I was kind of, I guess, in the right headspace to know that this is your moment. This is where you have to say, this is what's going on. And so, yeah, from there, we just, he asked me, could you write down what happened? And yeah, I wrote it down, and then the rest is history. We just went on a journey together.
Okay, so tell our wonderful viewers about the story, about the Omani film. What is it? what, you know, what is it about? Why should they watch it? And then we'll talk about the actual journey of making a film, because that is really, I find that really intriguing.
Absolutely.
No problem. So the film is a short film on YouTube. It's basically showcasing my life. So I got stabbed when I was 21. I got stabbed 7 times, intervening in someone else's argument. And essentially, it's my conversation with God in the ambulance as I'm fighting for my life. So it's me looking at the causes. How did I get there? You know, was I a bad boy? Was that my real intention? Was that my character? And essentially just kind of pleading for another chance. And obviously you guys see that I did get another chance, so that's a spoiler. But essentially, you know, it's just a really kind of heartfelt representation of what I went through. And it wasn't to glorify my story in any way. It's just to give hope to people, whether that be just from a self-development perspective, whether it's those that are struggling with faith. But essentially, it's just a great conversation starter as well. So it's done really well. You know, as I said, we had 1 million views in 4 days, which was amazing. Everyone was sharing it. It was on social media, on the news, really good kind of support. And then it's just kind of maintained over the time. And as I said, now we're nearly on 2 million. So yeah, really humbled by that. And I'm just so happy to read the comments and get the engagement from people. So you might call me famous, but I'm just playing my position, you know?
So did you expect it to do the numbers and have the success that it has had so far?
Not when I first started the project, because this was just before Javan had done Shiro's story. So this was around the same time that we started to speak, is when he first met Rapman, and the project was kind of put in front of him. And so we didn't know that Shiro's story was going to be so successful. It was only Shiro's story 1 at the time. So number 2 and 3 hadn't even been thought about. And so I guess as we started to get the momentum going with the film, and then I started to see, okay, Shiro's story's done some numbers and a lot of people are talking about it. And then they've got to do number 2. We actually shot our film at the same time they shot Shiro's story 3. So again, I won't go into the details, because I know you're going to ask me details about the process, but it was around the same time. And so at that point, I was like, yeah, this is going to do well. But I didn't know 1 million views in 4 days. That was something that was special.
And how long did it take to make the film?
7 days.
7 days. Wow.
7. That is amazing.
Can I ask what was the budget and how you funded it?
Okay, so we crowdfunded it, guys.
Oh, awesome. So crowdfunding works?
It does work. It's not easy, and I would definitely recommend.
Because we always say to people, crowdfunding is a financing option, and people are like, oh, it doesn't know if it works, but it works. Go on, sorry.
I've done it twice, so I'm an ambassador for it.
Okay.
But I would say that if you can secure the finances before you do crowdfunding, that's a good tip. I'm sure you guys your mentors that, because we did a kind of back against the wall type situation where you know, we both took a leap of faith. Javan was about to go and start shooting as Cyborg, and we just were like, we can't do this. He's maintaining his business. I'm doing certain things in my own world, and we're just like, we need to get the community behind it. And it just it was great bad timing. So, you know, so many young people were dying, which was, you know, horrendous to hear every day. But, you know, we were coming with a solution. We wanted to create a film to raise awareness of it. And I definitely feel like we did that. People have said that it was a moment in culture, which, you know, I won't really, I guess, see the real understanding of until I get a little bit older and look back. But, you know, it's definitely a time where we didn't know it was going to happen. You know, a lot of people told me, don't crowdfund, don't do it, you know, just wait a little bit till after summer. And I just knew we had a couple of weeks to make it happen. And we just, you know, dug in, made it happen. And we raised about 23 grand. And essentially we were just riding on favors. So the production company, Little Drops Production, were, you know, really supportive, allowing us to kind of pay things a little bit later, really working with us, going above and beyond, doing extra hours. And yeah, it was a project, like I would say, blessed by God, because if it wasn't, I don't know how we would have got there. There's so many things that went wrong, and we managed to push through, and it's here now. So
give us some top tips about crowdfunding for anyone out there thinking about crowdfunding. What are your kind of key nuggets and key tips to help them achieve their kind of that financial goal?
I would say one of the first things, as I said before, was make sure you got the money, at least, you know, in the pipeline. So, you know, you've got something secured. Someone sends you an email. This is due to come in. Definitely write out who's in your network. So I looked down and I started to say, okay, this is all the people in my WhatsApp family. These are all the people I know will send it. These are the groups I'm into. These are the key influences that are going to help me to kind of spread this message, the mavens of our community. And then I guess the other thing is just have heart. You know, you got to have heart in these situations. You've got to know that you're riding this out to the end. It's going to get very close to the edge, and you're going to think you're not going to be able to do it. Can't give up. You know, and I guess those would be the main things. There's loads of other things that I learned along the way, but I would definitely say those ones are kind of like real nuggets that would help. Yeah.
So you crowdfunded. You reached your target, presumably, the crowdfund.
Here's the story. We reached the crowdfunding when the film came out.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, we literally, the day the film came out, or the day of the premiere, which I think was the 4th of January this year, I had a meeting with the law firm Hogan Lovells, who I was introduced to, with their head of pro bono, and I said, look, you know what, this is the project we're going, and something told me go and do that meeting that day. I don't know why. It was someone that introduced me, and we went and I went to the meeting, I had breakfast with them, really good conversation, and I think it was like maybe 2 days after that, they then called me and said, okay, we're going to give you the final $7,000 that you need to finish your project. And so I think the week that the film came out, it was there. And that was literally to the wire. We cancelled the premiere in October due to technical difficulties, adding an additional 2,500 on top of what we had to raise. It was crazy. It's a film in itself, I think. So
yeah, it sounds like it.
When I do the series and stuff, I guess I'll show that side of it. You know?
So you went down to the wire. You got the last $7,000, but you decided you were having the premiere regardless at this point. And I love that's a lot of that takes a lot of guts.
Absolutely, faith.
It's not. I think because again, I think it's that resilience. You know, after I got stabbed, one of the ways that I rebuilt myself up was through cold calling. So I built a property business, and doing lettings and cold calling landlords that didn't want to speak to agents at the time, and so that kind of made me really resilient. That you don't take the first no. You know, make 100 phone calls a day, and one out of the 400, out of the 100 would kind of say yes, and then it's kind of building that relationship, and then that might die, but every day you still got to be consistent. So it just taught me how to be resilient, and I just now adapt that into everything else that I do. So. Yeah.
Awesome. And how did Self-Made make a feature? How did we end up in the book, in the film?
So if you guys remember, we met at the event in Finsbury Park. You met me and my wife. We did the book launch, right? You guys did.
That's right.
So
yeah.
One of the reasons why I wanted to include you guys, because I feel like you guys are really influential and inspiring young Black couple that have gone far. That is a real kind of a real big inspiration for the next generation. And I don't want to just use American books. You guys are from London, you guys walk these streets, you guys are accessible, you guys are on the grind, you're really trying to build up a legacy. And when I met you, I really got a good energy from you. So I had the book and I was just like, okay, it wasn't the book that I read to turn my life around, but it's the book that someone else can read to turn their life around. So we put it in there as a representative, because I would say for me, it was almost like what kind of books did I read? I guess things like Think and Grow Rich. That was that type of thing that someone can pick up and it empowers them to go and do something with what they have. And so, it would be perfect to have you guys in there. And you signed it, so there's no way I couldn't.
Thank you. Don't worry, the next book's going to be more about mindset. So don't worry, it's coming soon. Awesome. So as a result of doing the film, what's changed in your life, or what have you done or seen that you didn't think you would have done or seen or achieved?
One of the first things that's changed is I started wearing pink. So the game's changed.
When you start making money and things start changing. Oh god.
In your dress sense, right? But no, all seriousness, I feel empowered. So I feel quite fueled up. I feel like it's been definitely a door opener. So I go into a lot of different spaces now, and I'll be like, oh yeah, my name is Amani. I created a short film, and people are like, what? You're that? And then I don't get gassed with that because that's not what I'm there for. Yeah. But I use it as a tool to launch off. So sitting down with like people like the Deputy Mayor of London, or people from the Home Office, or going to 10 Downing Street. And I never would, if I'd made those phone calls, or, even schools, if I'd made those phone calls, I would have been in the waiting list. As soon as you create something that people are interested in and they can see it's creating traction and, really kind of making an impact, they want to meet you. They'll move their schedule to make things happen. So it's definitely been a blessing. And I guess for me, it's also given me a lot more a lot more strategic thought. So a lot more kind of like, let's do this big time. It's not just about, I'm from Enfield, so it's not just about North London. It's about how do we hit London? How do we then go from London to the rest of the UK? How do we then do America? Like it's opened my eyes to a different way of operation. So yeah.
Sure. So for you now, you had your first business, the property business.
Yeah.
And now you have this, which essentially is another business, going into schools, delivering training and so on. Mm-hmm. So how are you balancing both businesses?
I have someone that works with me in my property business that I guess handles the workload that I would have had to handle if I was still working there. And we're currently looking to get into acquisitions and property development as well. So I'm still learning. But I know I can't maintain that exclusively. I need someone else to help me kind of balance it. And then with Aviard, for us, it's about making sure that actually we're building a solid team. This is something that can be a massive organization, international. So it's about really building it slowly. So I guess for me, I'm not rushing the process. I'm speaking to elders. I'm sitting down with coaches and mentors. I'm, reading the books. I'm doing the research. Currently, I'm doing an accelerator program with NatWest. So really kind of making sure that certain things that maybe I would have learned on the come up are refined. That's really kind of, I don't want to go and like start making real money and real influence and then not have the right infrastructure. So I'm just sitting down and taking my time, and I'm learning the art of patience. Because I think when you're young, you want to do everything quickly. But
absolutely, yeah. Right. What's next then? What's next for you?
I definitely want to tell more stories. I'm going to do some more films. Yeah, definitely. And series and documentaries and stuff like that, just different forms of content. Definitely looking to expand the school program. Speaking to various different councils and organizations just to see how we can expand it out there. But I guess most importantly, it's about building platforms. So, I've got a really kind of solid entertainment and kind of, entertainment background. So I'm looking forward to bringing that to life and letting people know what's really in my head. I think the film was something that landed on my shoulders, but when I guess the world sees some of the stuff I've actually been working on, I think that will be the real game changer.
Do you think your kind of purpose is in bringing other people's stories to life now? Is it about the stories, or are you now thinking about fictional opportunities?
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't say that's exclusively my purpose. I feel like my purpose is to empower people in general and help them to reach their full potential. So if that means, telling your story is part of that, then by all means. But at the same time, not everyone is here to tell their story. Some people that are completely damaged by what has happened to them, and they shouldn't be at the forefront of telling their story. But what I'm trying to do is I guess create environments where people can, if they want to, and they can shine, they can showcase, they can feel happy and loved and safe. These types of environments. But I guess generally for me, I just want to just shine my light. I believe I was saved for a reason, and I want to be a role model as much as possible. Obviously, nobody's perfect. We always learn every day. But I'm here to do the best that I can for those coming after me. So,
absolutely. And are you finding the conversations that you're having with the schools and the universities, do they have the budgets and the local authorities to pay for this training and mentorship that you can offer, or are you finding it a bit challenging?
I think if I was coming into the situation with or the opportunities a little bit more on the back foot, where I'm calling and I'm trying to have certain conversations, I'd say it'd probably be a bit harder. But I think now, because people are starting to call me, they already know they've either got the budget or not, to make it happen. And I guess the other thing is as well is if they believe that you're providing a solution, they'll find the budget. And I think the final thing I'd say to anyone watching is just be creative. So one of the things that is, I guess, really working in my favor, what I believe will work in my favor when I start having those conversations, is that it's attractive for corporate companies to get involved in what I'm doing. Because I'm going into loads of schools and loads of young people are going to see their brand and see that association. So I'm looking to really go down that angle and get a little bit creative in terms of how some corporates can get involved with it. Because, from a corporate social responsibility angle, this is saying, can I have 100 grand to go into a few schools? That's like their weekly, their daily, you know what I mean? So I just see it as allowing us to really make it, really attractive for all of these different partners, and then they'll find the money to make it happen. So.
I love the way you think about things, and I think this is how we always say to like our mentees,
I
let's look at how we can make this financially viable. So let's look at partnerships, a sponsorship angle. Let's look at crowdfunding if necessary. Let's go to the client and show that we're solving a problem and this is the solution, and the solution costs money. So, you know, you need to fund a budget. And I think you're so right, because people think they have ideas, they're too scared to ask. You know, they're too scared to ask for the money. So it's great.
Yeah, definitely. And again, as I said, I think it's just come from building from the ground up. You know, I think you can always have theory in business, but you actually have to go out there and put your hands to the ground. And as they say, hands are made for working, right? So, yeah, I really.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's there's a rapper called Governor B that's got an album called Hands Are Made for Working, and I guess I kind of coined the phrase from him because I think it's important. You know, your hands are here to be used and to mold things, not just your mind. You know, you have to actually go out there and touch it. So it's important to get both together. So
and make it happen.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, fantastic. So, how do people find you? Like, where would they go to find more information about you, to see the film and so on? Where do they go?
So on YouTube, the film is called Amani. My full name is Amani Simpson. So I'm on social media, mainly Instagram, Twitter. I also have one as well. And then I guess if you want to find a bit more about my company, we're called Aviard Inspires. So AVIARD Inspires. And yeah, you can find out most of the information about us on the website. And yeah, there's loads more things coming. So just, I guess, follow up, get in touch. I'm really good at replying to DMs. And so, yeah, I'm here to just kind of, I guess, serve the world as much as I can.
Woo! So if someone has a vision, they have a story, they can come to you and potentially
Potentially, because I guess, like, you know, the way I see it is that people did it for me. So it's not to say I can reply to everybody, but there's a lot of people whose DMs I've slid in, or, you know, that I've met and they've given me an hour of their time. Like, I might not be able to help you, but I can point you in the right direction where possible. So it's just about, I guess, being humble. Again, I'm not here for the accolades. I'm just here to kind of play my position. I don't know when my time is going to be up, but I want to die empty. So, you know, I'm just going to make sure that everything that I've got in me comes out. And then
he's
on a roll.
Okay, so quick thing. So anybody who's looking to start their own kind of production company or make a short film, give them some really quick top tips.
Okay. Top tip, align yourself with experts. I have no idea how to create a short film, but I know people that do. The other thing is as well is definitely make sure that you've got the money secured before you start the project. I would definitely say ensure that you've given yourself enough time to do it as well, because there's always going to be setbacks. There's always going to be different things that come up that will throw you off if you're not careful. And finally, it's cliche, but believe in yourself. There's a lot of doubters and there's going to be a lot of brick walls, but you're going to have to keep pushing. It's going to be late nights. It's going to be potentially tears, you know, what people call losses, but we call lessons. You know, there's a lot of different things that you're going to have to go through. So just keep pushing, you know, and I guess the final thing I would say, actually, the one thing that helped me is the song that is at the end of my film is by a friend of mine called Still Shady. It's called Everything Changed. And I knew that was the song from the first time I heard it. The words were perfect. I knew it was going to be in the credits. And so I kept playing it. And that was my goal. I kept, every time I felt this is not going to happen, I played it on my TV. I banged it in my car. And I was just like, yeah, this is what it's going to sound like at the end of my premiere. This is what's going to happen. And when that to me was why when we were at the premiere and we had the 700 people in the building, we were just like, I was just like, this is the moment. This is what I prayed for. This is what I worked hard for. So, yeah, pray like it's up to God, work like it's up to you.
True champion. Thank you so much for your time. We love it. You've given us all your contact details, so we'll make sure we put that in the bio, in the description. And I think that's pretty much it. So again, thank you so much for joining us today.
So guys, if you have any more questions for Amani, make sure you put them down below in the comment section. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, share, because this is a man with some amazing vision, but also an amazing story. And if you haven't watched his story, you need to go onto the YouTube and watch it, because genuinely, I don't say this for everyone, I'm not that girl, but I genuinely watched it and felt like it was such a great story. And even though we know that you lived through the story, I was even watching like, oh no, is he gonna make it? So, you know,
Mission
Make
accomplished.
sure you watch it. Make sure when you see Self-Made in there, you stop, you pause, take a picture, and you share that too. But no, thank you very much, Omani.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure speaking to you. I've been Bianca.
And I'm Byron.
And Self-Made
Is success.
Take care.
Bye-bye.